All right, let's talk about a laptop that's managed to do something pretty special. The ASUS ROG Zephyrus G14. For a while now, this machine has built up this awesome reputation. We're talking gamers, creators, students, professionals. A whole lot of different people seem to agree that this thing is the real deal. So let's dig in and figure out why this little powerhouse gets so much love.
So you know the feeling, right? It's the classic dilemma every single person faces when buying a new laptop. Do you get the heavyweight champ that has all the muscle but is chained to your desk? Or do you get the nimble featherweight that you can take anywhere, but it can barely handle a few browser tabs? Well, the G14's whole reason for existing is to tell you that maybe, just maybe, you don't have to choose.
For what feels like forever, buying a laptop has been about compromise, and honestly, it's been pretty frustrating. On one side of the ring, you've got those massive desktop replacement laptops. You know the ones, they're basically portable power stations. And on the other side, you have these super sleek, gorgeous Ultrabooks that are a dream to carry around, but tend to choke when you ask them to do any real work.
And this really lays it all out, doesn't it? The big rigs are amazing for high-end gaming or chewing through a 4K video edit, but let's be real, you're not just casually throwing one in your backpack. The lightweight machines are amazing for hopping between cafes, but the second you try to launch a demanding game or a big project, yeah, good luck. That's exactly where the Zephyrus G14 tries to step in, to live in that sweet spot right in the middle. Okay, so if the G14 is supposed to be the answer, how does it actually pull it off? Well, it all starts with cramming a whole lot of performance into a chassis that, frankly, doesn't scream, "Look at me." Let's crack it open and see what we're really working with here. The first thing you notice is, well, how normal it looks. And I mean that in the absolute best way possible. There are no crazy angles, no spaceship vents, no over-the-top lights everywhere. It's just a clean, solid, beautifully built laptop. You could pull this out in a business meeting and nobody would bat an eye. Then you could go home and fire up a game and it's right at home there too. But don't let those clean looks fool you, because this thing is a sleeper. It's an absolute beast on the inside. We're talking modern, high-end processors from AMD and powerful graphics cards from NVIDIA. This machine just chews through modern games, it makes video editing a breeze, and you can multitask with a bunch of creative apps without it even breaking a sweat. It's kind of funny. It's probably more power than most of us will ever truly need. Okay, but we have to be real for a second. You can't cheat physics. When you pack that much horsepower into a slim 14-inch laptop, it's gonna generate heat. So when you're really pushing it, like in a long gaming session or a big video render, those fans are gonna kick on and yeah, they can get loud. And the laptop itself will get pretty warm. That's not a flaw, it's just the price you pay for having so much power in such a small package. So specs are one thing, but what's it actually like to live with this thing day in and day out? Because a truly great laptop isn't just about benchmarks, right? It's about all the little things, how it feels to use for your boring work emails just as much as for your weekend gaming. Oh man, the screen on this thing it's just a knockout, seriously. Whether you go for the super smooth, high refresh rate display or the absolutely gorgeous OLED with those perfect inky blacks, you're getting a phenomenal screen. Colors just pop, text is razor sharp, and everything feels incredibly fluid. It makes even the boring stuff feel a little more special. And it's not just the screen. The parts you actually touch all day, they nailed them. The keyboard is just a joy to type on. It has this satisfying feel that's great for banging out long essays or code. And the trackpad is huge, smooth, and feels like it was lifted straight off a top-tier Ultrabook. It's one of those little details that makes a massive difference in how much you enjoy using a machine every single day. Okay, here's something that genuinely surprised me. The speakers. You just don't expect a small laptop to sound this good. But they're loud, they're super clear, and they have this richness to them that's really rare. It's actually good enough that you can watch a movie or listen to some music and not immediately feel like you have to grab your headphones. But here's the G14's secret weapon, the thing that catches everyone off guard. For a laptop with this much gaming power, the battery life for normal stuff, browsing the web, writing documents, watching videos, is fantastic. You can actually get through a full day of classes or work without being chained to a wall outlet. Now, to be clear, if you start gaming, it's going to drain that juice fast. But for everything else, it's a game changer. So we've talked about the good, the bad, and the surprisingly great. The big question now is this laptop for you? Because as amazing as it is, it's not going to be the perfect fit for everybody. So let's break down exactly who should be putting this at the top of their list.
First up, if you're a student or you're working from home, listen up. This could be your perfect machine. It's light enough to toss in a bag and forget about. The keyboard is amazing for all-night study sessions, and the battery means you can camp out in the library or a coffee shop all day. It's the ultimate one machine to rule them all for your dorm room or home office, covering both work and play.
Next, we've got the person who's always on the move but can't afford to compromise on power. I'm talking about the video editor who needs to cut a project together in a hotel room, or the gamer who wants to play the latest titles on a work trip. The G14 gives you all that desktop-level power without forcing you to lug around a giant, heavy beast of a laptop.
And finally, this one's for the professional who kind of has a double life. You know who you are. By day, you need a powerful, reliable machine that looks sleek and professional in meetings. But by night, you want to unwind with some serious gaming. The G14 is one of the very few laptops that can pull off both roles perfectly without looking out of place in either one.
So let's just boil it all down, right? The pros are huge. Incredible performance for a machine this small, a world-class display, a beautiful design, and that surprisingly great battery life. On the flip side, the things to consider are real trade-offs. Those fans will get loud, the top models can get pretty pricey, and this isn't a machine you're going to be upgrading yourself down the line.
Okay, so what's the final verdict here? The thing about the Zephyrus G14 is that it's not trying to be the absolute most powerful laptop on the planet, and it's not trying to be the lightest either. Where it succeeds and why so many people love it is that it absolutely nails the balance between those two extremes. And honestly, I think this quote from the source material just hits the nail on the head. That's the key right there. It stops being just a gaming laptop and becomes something more. It's a fantastic computer for almost anyone who wants a machine that's powerful, portable, and a genuine pleasure to use. Full stop.
So, if you're thinking, okay, I'm in, how do you pick the right one for you? Well, first, just be real with yourself. What are you really going to use it for most of the time? Gaming? Video editing? Just email and Netflix? Then match the parts to that job. A gamer might want the high refresh screen, a creator might want the OLED. And a little pro tip, you don't always need the most expensive model. The mid-range versions often hit that perfect sweet spot of price and performance.
At the end of the day, the ASUS ROG Zephyrus G14 gets incredibly close to being that mythical one laptop that can actually do it all. It blends power, portability, and premium quality in a way that very few others can. And that brings us right back to where we started. It's a fantastic machine for sure. But the real question, the one only you can answer, is this. Is it the one laptop for your everything?